What is Rock RMS? If you're curious about the Rock platform, you're in the right place. Rock is an innovation engine for churches. We'll break that down for you in this presentation so you can have a better understanding of what Rock does, who's involved, and how it might be a great tool to accelerate your ministry. The topics we're going to cover in this presentation include Rock's position in the church management space, its comprehensive tools and features, the power of the Rock community, Spark, the innovators of Rock, our distinctive model, and how you can get started. To begin, let's talk about Rock's position in the church management system space. Are all church management systems created equally? It can be challenging to navigate the options in this space, so we'll break it down here with a simple analogy. Not all products serve the same audience. We're familiar with this concept in other industries that have different market positions and target audiences. So let's take a look at the industry of vehicles as an example. Different brands are often known for certain characteristics and marketed to different people. Taking a look at this screen, would you agree that each of these brands is really best known for these qualities? Probably so. And similarly in the church management system market, there are different brands that are known for different things and also serve different audiences. So for instance, if you're looking for a basic administrative solution for your church, platforms like Planning Center Online or Breeze might come to mind. They're simplistic, right, with limited flexibility, which does make for quicker onboarding and simple choices. Now, this can be a benefit to some churches, but in order to provide that simplicity, they are fairly opinionated about how you should use their features, which could be limiting to your church's processes. If you want a more robust solution, at the opposite end of the spectrum, Rock services churches that require flexibility, growth, and innovation. That's the audience we serve, and Rock is the leading platform in this space. The best way to describe Rock is that it's an innovation toolkit for churches. It offers flexibility and freedom for churches of all sizes. Now, you might think this means Rock is really only good for big churches, but that's not necessarily true. We have everything from church plants to mega churches successfully using Rock. What is true is that it's the best fit for churches of all sizes that have a goal of innovation and personalized ministry tools for their congregations. With that in mind, Rock is an English language platform that's being used successfully by about 450 churches, a little more, around the world. Now, the majority of our community is currently found in the United States. There are certainly platforms with more adoption out there, but Rock may be the most impactful church management system. So let's talk about what that means and how we're measuring impact. Rock's been adopted successfully at most of the largest churches in the U.S., including the ones shown here, with more making the decision to move every year. Each of these churches has a wide sphere of influence. They share their recommendations with other churches, and they're providing personalized ministry opportunities to an enormous amount of people in their own congregations. As a measurement, all of the top 5 largest churches in the U.S. and 37% of the top 100 largest churches have selected Rock as their platform of choice. We'll talk more about the strong community of churches of all sizes using Rock, but for now, just know that there's room for your church here, too. When we're talking about Rock's impact, though, we recognize that the average church running on Rock is probably 100 to 200 times larger than the average church on most other church management systems, which means there's a higher impact per organization. We know from the attendance records of Rock churches that approximately 1.2 million people attended a Rock church last weekend. And because we know that people typically attend church once every 3 weeks or so, that means that about 3.6 million people would call a Rock church their home. And that's roughly equivalent to about 1% of the entire population of the United States. So altogether, Rock church databases hold contact records for 28.4 million people, which accounts for 9% of all Americans. That's why we say the Rock community of churches is high impact and has high potential. We take this potential very seriously, as you'll see when we start discussing the tools and features of Rock next. We believe Rock is not just a platform for the administration of churches, but it's a toolkit for personalized digital ministry. And that's a major reason why many churches choose to use Rock. As the executive pastor of New Spring, Michael Mulliken, states here, it's hard to believe that software can serve people to make their relationship with Jesus stronger, but that's exactly what Rock RMS does, and it's been a game changer for New Spring Church. So we've covered Rock's position in the church management space. Let's take a look at Rock's tools and features. And don't forget that if you do want to get hands-on with the platform, once we're finished with this presentation, you can hop over to take a test drive on our public demo site at rockrms.com. However, before we get into all the options, you should know first that there are two approaches to Rock that you can take, and this is important to understand. The first is the Essentials track. This relies on the out-of-the-box experience, and it does not intend to customize the platform much or maybe at all. And this track will require your church to staff and train your people at a similar level to what you would do on another more simple platform. The second option for using Rock, though, we kind of call the Trailblazer track, and that uses Rock in a highly customized way, and this would require a different level of staffing, education, and skill, which you can have either in-house with your staff, or you can contract that externally through some of the Rock experts. Both of these are valid ways to use Rock, and you'll want to determine which track makes the most sense for your church so you can help focus your evaluation, budget, and direction decisions to match that. Setting your expectations early will help you implement the platform with your best experience in mind. And keep in mind that as you talk with other churches about their Rock experience, you'll want to understand whether they're approaching the platform based on having an Essentials track or if they're looking at a Trailblazer track, because that will make a difference in what they're describing to you. All right, let's get going. What makes Rock unique? This is what we came for here, right? Rock is not just a church management system. It does have all the features churches rely on to make their churches run, yes. However, Rock is also a powerful platform for digital publishing, communications, and engagement. And when you combine your church management database and processes with these dynamic tools, that's where the magic happens, resulting in personalized content, tailored communications, and individualized discipleship engagement programs. This is why churches select Rock. Let's break Rock's features down into 4 categories and dive right in. Starting with Rock's powerful church management tools, you'll experience an intuitive design and highly configurable features, including the ones shown here. Let's take a quick run through of these features. Just know I'm only describing the very high-level perspective, and you can get more on our community site if you want to go through our documentation. We also really suggest connecting with a church in the community and walking through a little bit about how they're using these features to manage their congregations. First, let's look at people management. Rock provides family groups and individual profiles, as well as providing known relationships and peer networks to help you understand your people. Our person profile pages are very customizable, with endless fields and attributes that can be tracked, as well as powerful native features like badge bars for tracking engagement, many kinds of notes with options to pin them to the top, secure them separately, provide security alerts. You can launch actions and communications directly from the person profile page. This includes things like background checks and 5 free included personality assessments, which includes spiritual gifts and the DISC test. Each profile natively shows steps, groups, documents, contributions, benevolence, security roles, communication, and attendance history, and more. The options are nearly endless. Like many things in Rock, the hardest part will be determining your strategy rather than having to tell your staff that it can't be done. Rock offers a powerful search function as well as personal reminders and bookmarks so that your staff can navigate the platform easily. Additionally, our menu bar is customizable, and Rock provides a dashboard view for each person to quickly access their own assigned tasks and other items. Okay, now this is just the first feature. Let's keep moving. Check-in, one of Rock's most powerful and configurable features. Check-in lets you set up your system to match your processes. With an intuitive check-in manager app for your key volunteers and staff, slick kiosk interfaces, and a multitude of configurations. If you're wondering if Rock's check-in can meet your needs, trust me, it can. Check in your kids, students, volunteers, small group attendees, class and event attendees, even your main service attendees if you wanted to. How about metrics and reporting? You can understand your data and access it at your fingertips with Rock Simple Metrics and reporting functions. Your metrics can be manually or automatically recorded and partitioned according to your specific goals. When it comes to reports, there are also many options in Rock. We start with data views, which are your filter criteria to identify who should be included. Then we layer that with reports, which display what you want to see about those filtered records. All of this is point-and-click simplicity. But if you want to take your reporting to the next level, we do have additional options for you, including special blocks for dynamic reports, a built-in SQL command page, and even special tables for BI reporting, which you can integrate with external BI solutions like Tableau or Power BI. One of Rock's earliest features was prayer, and you can use your public website to allow people to enter prayer requests. You can power up your volunteer prayer teams by providing them with easy-to-navigate tools that help them navigate individual prayers and prayer sessions. Each request can be administrated and secured, that's a key, associated with categories and flagged if needed. We mentioned this feature as a church management feature, but imagine the engagement that you could have by including prayer sessions in a daily quiet time app for your congregation. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk more about that here soon. How about finance? Your finance team does need the right tools at their fingertips. Rock is not a bookkeeping system, but it is a full donor management system. Rock integrates with many leading payment processing platforms. It processes transactions for individuals, businesses, and families, and provides batch details that can be tied out to any financial software. The main features of finance include scheduled transactions, text giving, powerful built-in giving analytics, pledge, benevolence, check scanning, configurable contribution statements, and much more. Okay, we're just getting going. Event registration. Probably like check-in, Rock's event registration is a huge feature set with lots of options. Rock facilitates free and paid registrations and can be set up for partial payments, payment plans, additional fees, single or multiple registrations, discounts, notifications, and many custom options. Additionally, event registration is closely tied to public calendars and groups in Rock. This means you can set up a calendar event that takes you to an event registration, kicking off communications to registrants and placing them into the correct groups automatically. Can you imagine that time savings? Speaking of time savings, let's talk about workflows and forms. The real muscles in Rock come from the workflow engine. This powerful tool can automate nearly anything, collecting data through forms and storing it inside your profiles or your tables that you can access throughout the entire system. Automating activities that can be triggered by connections and signups, group placements, and more. So a couple of quick examples of how you might use Rock workflows could include a ticketing system for HR positions or potentially IT requests. You could automatically email a group leader whenever a new person is added to their group, or running on a specified schedule to clean up data or send out communications. These are really just the tip of the iceberg. So what you need to know about workflows is that they're fully customizable, and that means they can be a little complex, but that's great for your technical staff. And to reduce that complexity, we actually created a simple form wizard tool that's easy to navigate for your administrative staff. Think of workflows this way. If there's something you'd like to automate and it's tracked inside Rock somehow, there's definitely a way to make it happen. Okay, now that we've covered many of those basics, how about we talk about the tools your leadership is going to love, and that's the engagement tools. We'll start out with groups. The backbone of your church may be groups, but it's also the backbone of the Rock platform. So from small groups to serving teams, families to security roles, and so much more, all of these are groups inside of Rock, which makes them very easy to administrate and very powerful. You can navigate them internally simply and find them on Rock's native external group finder tool for your congregation. Groups have many interesting features, such as whether they should be public, what their campus affiliation is, if they need a linkage to a calendar event or registration. We could spend the entire presentation talking about groups in Rock, honestly, but because we have to keep it short, we'll keep moving. Just know that you can secure groups, you can have group requirements and schedules, you can take attendance, including in your Rock mobile app, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself. You can view group history, track RSVPs to group events, administrate fundraising for mission trips, and this is all still the beginning. So if you're asking, can groups in Rock do what I need them to? I can tell you they can. How about group scheduling? That's our term in Rock for volunteer scheduling. Volunteers can be empowered to do many administrative tasks securely, including signing up for the times they'd like to serve and checking in when they arrive. This is powered by the scheduler inside Rock, and that allows you to automate scheduling and communications with your volunteers in certain ways. You can track responses per group, location, and schedule with our schedule analytics report. This is a widely used feature by many churches in Rock. How about connections? Do you ever worry that your attendees might fall through the cracks when they reach out to your staff? Maybe someone's on vacation or sick. Our connections feature is designed to prevent that. Many of your organization's strategies might revolve around helping people engage with your church or moving them from one status to another. It could mean they want to volunteer with a ministry, or maybe that they want to speak with a pastor about a child dedication, or maybe they filled out a form on your website asking for more information from a particular campus or maybe a ministry. You want to keep all these inquiries moving forward without stalling, and there are a lot of them moving at once. Rock's Connections feature can allow you to build simple or advanced processes to assign any type of request like this to a specific staff member, which prompts them to continually reach out and maybe even follow specific processes during the course of that reach out until the person who came to you is fully connected and has their desired result. So this can really help you close that back door. Now, how do you measure engagement? What does your discipleship pathway look like? Our Steps feature helps outline the milestones your church uses to guide people along their spiritual development. This could mean things like attending a starting point class once, joining a small group every semester, being baptized, giving, and so much more. If you use this feature, you can define the steps and measure the steps. This will help you know when somebody's completed them. Then you can use all the data from that to visualize the steps and the completion. You can have badges on the person profiles that indicate whether or not they've completed something. You could actually launch workflows or communications directly off the completion of these steps, automatically record metrics that you can report on per person, per church, or broken down in a variety of ways. We also provide charts that track holistic movement through your steps over time and even visualize the way people flow through your steps from one to another, so you can have insights on where people are dropping out and work to make that process better in those spots. A fairly new feature inside Rock is the learning management system, and that's actually a full LMS platform built directly inside Rock. It has the tools to create and manage education content, training programs, courses for your church. You can assign training, track progress, and maintain training records. With our flexible features, you can support on-demand or academic calendar training programs for things like your residency program, perhaps. Some of the tools available to you include rubric-based assessments, tracking video watch analytics, uploading homework assignments, and grading systems. And this is all directly inside the Rock platform. All right, our signups feature. It connects people with opportunities to serve for short-term mission or community projects. Some ideas we've seen people use this for include things like Christmas gifts for local children with specific requests, emergency relief during a natural disaster, or maybe a service project weekend. Without a feature like this, your administrative staff can be easily overwhelmed trying to manage a project like that. However, if you want to manage logistics and communication to match individuals with specific passions or maybe availability with specific opportunities, this is a very streamlined feature. Think of a next level sign-up genius that's driven by your church database. Streaks and achievements. Now this is getting fun. Streaks will take your attendance data to the next level because it helps you find and analyze meaningful engagement patterns. They can tell you how many times in a row someone has engaged in your organization. So you can build out streaks to track many different types of attendance and specific time frames and frequencies. This is an exciting way to visualize a person's engagement with your church. Once you have those streaks set up, you can create achievements, kind of like milestones where you can celebrate within a streak. The options are almost limitless here, but a popular example is an achievement of weekend check-in at children's services. If they've come a certain number of times in a row, when they hit that achievement, you can trigger a celebration directly on the check-in kiosk screen with confetti, graphics, sounds. It's totally customizable. Or after a certain number of volunteer check-ins, maybe in a row, you could print an extra label that would give them a coupon for a free drink at the coffee shop. This is a fun way to bring gamification into your attendance goals. How about custom dashboards? Rock is a web-based platform, and every screen is a web page that can have multiple blocks added to it. We kind of compare it to a Lego kit that you can assemble in different ways. That means you can customize many aspects of Rock simply by the way you assemble the parts. This includes nearly infinite possibilities for custom dashboards. So whether you're looking for a KPI dashboard for your leadership to assess your health metrics, maybe a navigation dashboard for your administration staff, or campus dashboards for your campus pastors that might display the most recent weekend statistics and quick links to the main pages that they want to see, or really anything else you can come up with. As long as it exists in Rock, you can make a custom dashboard for it. Are you starting to see how flexible this platform is? Okay, let's take engagement to the next level now and use Rock's communication features. Now, these will allow you to track all the interactions your people have with your email, SMS, push notifications, and chat. And then you can customize future messages based on that data. So Rock's Communication Wizard incorporates an easy drag and drop interface that's enhanced with several features we're going to talk about here. That includes communication lists. These lists are contact lists or groups that your people can sign up for themselves directly from their own profile pages in your Rock mobile app or website. Internally, these lists are groups that you can use to communicate with your people. Maybe you have a communication list of parents of various age groups, small group members, everyone registered for a summer camp, or maybe everybody serving as an usher. This is managed as a group, and it's very easy to administrate. Now, these lists can then be combined with segments, which are easy ways for you to select and filter your lists based on any field in your database. For instance, after selecting a communication list, you can then filter that down based on gender, age, or both. Subscriptions. Your people can manage their own communication list subscription preferences by navigating to their personal profile page when they're logged in, or clicking the unsubscribe button on an email, which will take them to that same page. The subscriptions allow them to opt in or to opt out to all those individual lists, and they can indicate their recipient preferences like email, text, or SMS. This helps them subscribe and unsubscribe to the necessary types of communications from your organization without unsubscribing from everything you might send out. System communications are used by Rock to send very specific automated messages for situations like when someone receives an indication that they've forgotten their password and they request to reset it. Those kind of things can be automated in Rock, so you don't need to administrate them separately. These can be sent by, again, email, SMS, push notification, according to their preference. Rock's communication features also include really powerful analytics. These allow you to measure the success of past messages and inform your future communications. You can drill all the way down from one message's overall open analytics to an individual person's communication history and see their particular engagement with specific communications. This allows you to track successful deliveries versus failures, opens and clicks, email clients, popular links, and more. That even includes charts and graphs for communication overviews and individual data points per person. All right, now we're getting into the personalization. Using Rock's unique Lava templating language, communications can be personalized to the recipient based on any data that you track inside Rock. You can add lava to pull in a person's first name, maybe, for light personalization. Alternatively, you could send out emails for contribution statements maybe that have personalized links that would take you to each person's own profile page to view their own statements. But the sky really is the limit here. You could also customize the body of your emails based on any data you have about a person, such as if you were going to use Rock's free built-in personality assessments. Theoretically, you could provide 4 possible messages, each one appealing to a different DISC score personality, and the recipient would receive the message that aligns with their own results. Just start imagining the possibilities here. And when you're ready to begin customizing your content on your public platforms, you'll definitely want to take a look at Rock's native digital publishing platforms. We have websites, mobile apps, and TV apps all currently natively inside Rock. Sticking with personalization, the biggest benefit of building your external website, mobile app, or TV app on Rock are that you can easily personalize your content, your actions, and actually their entire experience based on the data in your database. So that means you could have not just one website that functions as your main marketing site, maybe for your visitors or the community to find out more about what you're like. And then maybe another site for your members, the one where they're logged in and they have a portal and a dashboard. You can combine those 2 sites, your external site and your personalized login site, and someone just comes to your website. And if they're logged in and you know them, the whole site can change based on what you know about them. This is really exciting. You can adjust the content on your site for a person's primary campus. You could promote events, like if it's a woman visiting your site, you can present women's ministry options. You can present men's ministry options in the same space when a man visits. You can encourage one-click sign-up for the next step that person should be taking on their individual discipleship journey because you have that data as the backbone of your site. And there's so much more. It's common for churches to try to sync multiple different platforms to achieve exactly these results. But Rock is designed from the base to easily provide these personalization solutions without complex integrations. There is no integration needed from Rock to your website or mobile app if you use the native built-in tools on the platform. Let's talk about messages and blogs. It's important to get your content out to people. Your staff might currently be entering these videos and written content into multiple platforms to reach your web, mobile, and TV audiences. Rock streamlines that effort with content channels. These simple point-and-click pages allow your team to easily create one content item for your sermons and blogs, and that one item shows up, it's distributed across all your Rock channels quickly, immediately. Your content items can be tagged and filtered for easy searching, and then displayed according to your preferred design and user experience. So that means next weekend's sermon can be entered one time into Rock and show up according to the design already predetermined inside your mobile app, your website, and your TV app with one really easy administrative upload. Reading plans are an excellent way to provide engagement opportunities and a pathway to spiritual growth for your congregation throughout the week, not just on weekends. You can include reading plans in your Rock mobile app or even your Rock website in one of 3 licensed Bible translations, ESV, NLT, or the Message. Once you've added this content, you can optionally pair it with additional devotional content of your own, prayer requests from your people, and more for a full daily spiritual discipleship practice. Now imagine setting up streaks and achievements inside that as well to kind of gamify the engagement process. Short links. You can make your website URL links very easy to display and promote with short links. There's an admin button on the bottom of every page that allows you to set a simple link name for any page in your internal or external sites. You can then use these friendly links for all the pages you reference rather than long, complex routes. You can quickly administrate all of your short links later on a simple admin screen. When it comes to your video content, wouldn't it be great to know what content was well received, or what content an individual person is watching repeatedly, or maybe if they are fully watching a particular video? If you install a Media Sync plugin for Vimeo, YouTube, Resi, or Wistia, you can also track watch analytics on your videos. And an individual could start a video in their mobile app, pick it up later on their laptop from your website, and then finish it on their TV app later that evening, stopping and starting right where they left off each time. Because our watch analytics track each watch a person makes, you can also drill all the way down to see if a potential children's volunteer, for example, has completed watching a training video before they move on to the next step. Interactions. In general, how do you know what people are doing on your website, mobile app, or TV app? Are they clicking, exploring deeply, bouncing off to another site? Rock's Interactions feature lets you track every move. You'll see every page visit, email click, and session detail if you're using the Interactions feature. This is important because it tells you how people are engaging with your content, and that can inform what content you put out or how you minister to an individual. It helps you uncover their motivations because there are tags that can even add purpose. This helps you know what a person visited and what content drew them in and what kept them there. So like everything in Rock, once that data is recorded, it's available for you. You can report on it. You can have insights for future decisions. You can add it to dashboards. Everything in Rock comes together when you utilize the database, workflow, content, and external platform features to personalize your digital ministry. So here's one example. Let's say one of your attendees, named Ted Decker, has not been baptized. If he's logged into your Rock website, mobile app, and TV app, you can give him personalized messaging. Rather than just a generic message on the page about baptism and what it is, you can actually personalize the content directly on the page and instead say, "Hey Ted, join us for baptism next weekend. Take the plunge." You could prioritize your promotions that you give him to include baptism opportunities, and you could even show him a personalized dashboard of next step icons indicating his baptism step, and have a one-click to sign up. On the other hand, if another attendee visited your baptism page who has been baptized already, you could encourage him instead to bring a friend to the baptism event next weekend. Same page, different messaging, all based on the data inside your Rock instance. Okay, this is just one example of many that are possible to help people receive relevant content, envision their next steps, and easily take action. Beyond the features and the tools, one of the most powerful aspects of Rock truly is the community of churches that are using it. The word community can be overused, but in the Rock context, it's really a collaborative approach to building the kingdom. That's why we say Rock is not just a product, it really is a community. What does the Rock community do? The Rock churches constantly share recipes and best practices of things they've done to drive ministry engagement on their end. People don't have to reinvent the wheel. They encourage each other and learn together. They answer each other's questions real time in an incredible way. That means even if you're just getting started, you're not doing this alone. There are many opportunities for these community connections. These are the top places to see the Rock community in action right now. If you go to community.rockrms.com, we have a website that's a hub of resources for the community. We have training materials, critical content, updates from the core development team, and everything in between. This includes the Rocket.chat community chat platform with channels for all sorts of different topics and features, including a new to Rock channel. This chat community is incredibly active and very helpful. We have over 500 active participants dedicated to answering questions and providing support. RX is the Rock Annual Conference, where the whole community comes together for 3 days. We have vision casting, learning, collaboration, connection, and training. Community hubs are where churches connect through dedicated chat channels and even in-person meetups. And this can be based on regional, where they live, or topical as well. We have nearly 30 active regional communities around the world. The core team has said often that if it could keep just one thing, the platform or the community, the platform would have to go. Certainly wouldn't be easy to rebuild it, but it would be easier to build the technology than to build a successful, vibrant community. That doesn't just happen easily. It is one of the most unique and powerful aspects of Rock, and if you speak with a Rock church, it will be one of the first things you hear them mention. Scott Ballard, for instance, the director of digital strategy at the Summit Church, has said, "We are so grateful to be a part of the Rock community. It's the first time in my 10 plus years of being in church technology that the church comes first. Yes, it is a product, but for us, it's family." Spark Development Network is the nonprofit team behind the Rock platform. Here's what you need to know about Spark. As I said, Spark is a nonprofit organization. It owns the Rock intellectual property and it builds the Rock community. It was created by a small team of people who worked on the IT staff for several large churches and was built specifically to solve ministry needs for a wide variety of churches. Fundamentally, Spark's model is set up to look a lot like yours, a lot like the church's, so we can create, collaborate, and mutually have beneficial relationships with each other. From the very beginning, the vision of Spark was to build a platform that protects churches and the investment that churches make in their technology. That's why Spark was founded as a nonprofit. Rock cannot be sold for profit. There's no incentive to sell or maximize profit at the expense of churches. Fundamentally, it's open for churches to extend and flex to meet their needs. Additionally, it's open source for religious nonprofits, meaning that churches can do whatever they want with Rock. And if the core Spark team fails to live up to its promises, churches can take the platform and do what they need with it going forward. Spark is transparent and accountable. It includes a large, strong board with a varied background across the business and nonprofit sectors. Each member of the board has a strong commitment to the ministry and the church. Most platforms could be considered what we'd call closed source. That means their code is maintained behind closed doors. It's not visible or accessible or available to anyone else. But with Rock, we have a public code repository where the developers of Rock publish their code every day. It's visible for everyone to see, and it's openly licensed for religious nonprofits to use in whatever way they see fit. This is an incredible protection for churches. As an open source platform, there are many ways that Rock can be extended. For instance, Rock has an open API. With this, you can access your data to build integrations for an infinite number of other products. Rock is also an open ecosystem with a whole built-in app store, just like the ones you'd find, say, on your mobile phone. Developers can build plug-in integrations, features, and services that can be easily purchased and installed with a quick and easy process. This also helps keep the prices for these solutions down for every individual church that wants to use them. Rock encourages open organizational collaboration with other organizations. We can provide integrations, products, and services, and they can participate in the sponsor and partner opportunities for promotion inside the community. Here are some of the organizations that currently support Rock and provide services inside the Rock community. The Rock model is very different from the traditional church management platform. Like your church, Rock is funded by donations to Spark. It is not funded by licensing fees. Of course, it does take funding for a platform to be maintained and innovated upon. The work we're doing does have to be funded, but it's the generosity of churches using Rock that makes all of this work. It's a very hard model, as you know, but it is a good one. And it means that Rock and the churches that work together are working on the most relevant solutions with the peak efficiency. We do have a suggested donation rate that Spark provides, which is modified from time to time to account for inflation. Currently, the suggested donation rate is $4.10 per average weekend attendee per year. As an example, for a church of 1,000 attendees, that would be $4,100 a year or less than $350 a month. For this donation amount, a church receives what we call early access. What is early access, you ask? That's a great question. This is basically just access to the latest and greatest Rock features as they're completed. Without early access, churches may still use Rock freely, but must wait 1 year from the release date of features to have access to those new versions. What about churches that can't afford to donate? because they're small, maybe they're new, or they're going through a time of hardship, Spark has provided for a step-down grant program. It provides a grant to reduce the early access donation requirement. Over time, the grant does grow smaller until that church is able to meet the suggested rate. Spark has never turned down a grant request. The goal here is mutual generosity that results in maximum benefit to the church. Let's talk about support here. Support looks a little different in the Rock model as well. So there's not a traditional phone number or chat support with the product platform itself. Rock support is actually provided by the community, and the quality is incredible. Instead of talking to someone who does not use the platform whenever you have a question, you can simply read the free manuals. By the way, they're written for the average person and not for a techie user. You can watch the free video documentation, and you can connect with any of the 500 plus active individuals on chat, or reach out to our 160 plus rock stars. There are also options for paid Rock partner support contracts if you do want to pay for expert support, and we'll mention that here in just a few minutes. Churches that move to Rock are often surprised to find that they're much better supported than they were on their previous system. Yep, that's right. They tell us they like the support at Rock better. It's more relevant and it's more real. While most platforms keep their issue tracking behind closed doors, ours is publicly tracked and visible in our code repository that I mentioned, which we keep in GitHub. We're very focused on addressing issues as they're discovered, rather than maintaining a long backlog with slow progress. To us, quality is a feature and a priority. We want to remain transparent, and we want to provide fixes as soon as possible. This is not always the case with every church management system. Well, we've told you what we can about Rock and about Spark. If it sounds like this might be the platform for you, you might be wondering how to get started. If the Essentials track is right for you, we suggest reaching out to a managed Rock hosting provider. This is the simplest way to get started. For a monthly subscription payment, you'll have a quick and easy server setup. Your infrastructure will be maintained for you. You never have to think of the word server. And even your donation to Spark will be included in your monthly cost. So you never have to worry about your early access status, and your finance staff doesn't have to pay 2 different bills. There are currently 2 authorized Rock hosting providers listed here, or you can go to rockrms.com/hosting. For those churches on the Trailblazer track, we'd encourage you to look into setting up your infrastructure on Microsoft Azure, because it is the most commonly used platform in the community, which means the most community knowledge and support tends to be focused there. Besides servers, one other important consideration in getting started with Rock is what to do with your data. Keep in mind that while we often highly value our data, it may not be as valuable or as clean as we might first think. And if your data is messy in your old system, it's going to be just as messy in the new one. It's expensive to pay someone to move all of your data to a new system, but there are options, so we encourage you to consider these before you get started. You should consider just starting fresh in Rock. There are tools that we have in Rock that will allow you to give your people a page where they can enter their own data. They can put in their person and family information, and it is literally the cleanest data you'll ever get. It's completely free, and it's very fast. Or in a process you can manage in-house, you could export your person and family data into CSV files from your old system and then upload them into Rock. What you need to know ahead of time is that there is a personnel cost to do this, but you could potentially manage it by your own team in-house. It is a bit more time consuming, as you have to make sure that all of your data in every cell of your Excel file is formatted correctly for Rock. So you have a little bit more elbow grease, but you can still maintain a free price tag. Finally, you could pay a Rock partner to move your data for you if you need the assistance. There are some tools Rock partners have that can help with this, but it can be costly and it can be time consuming. So these are your options, and we encourage that you consider them. We also know that starting from scratch with your data can be a little intimidating, but it has been done, and it can be a very valuable process. It focuses your budget on building things out inside of Rock instead of moving data, and it provides a very clean starting point. Consider this quote from Ryan Smith with Calvary Chapel in Chattanooga, Tennessee, who gave this strategy a try. Starting fresh with Rock gave us clean, tailored data, which saved time and money. The benefits of accurate data outweigh the concerns of leaving old data behind. And keep in mind, you can always save copies of your CSV file exports from your old system as a reference should you need them in the future. What you need to know is that there are currently 5 Rock partner organizations specializing in working with churches. They can help with things like a Rock implementation, perhaps a support retainer after you're already on Rock. They can help with maintenance and troubleshooting, building out new tools, setting up automations, and we encourage you to visit our rockrms.com/partners page to view these partners, as well as have a list of interview questions to help you with your evaluation of their services. So we've covered a lot of ground. Rock is different in quite a few ways. We've outlined them here in this presentation, but the bottom line is that without God's timing and provision, Rock would not be what it is today. And that's why at the top of every page of code in Rock, you'll find that it says, "To God be the glory."